How the hell are you supposed to fucking... You can't deny somebody without a fucking trial or a formal appeal for anything. You can't discontinue your benefits and then say, oh, well, you have to appeal it. No, you have to give a fair trial, an explanation, a termination, a grace period, the local rule 4 to deliver certified documentation because you have to send that through the mail. You, I don't understand why people don't get this. You cannot just deny somebody that. Plus, it's ultimately discrimination to even ask somebody for their freaking information. It's a constitutional right to fucking protect your identity because your name and your license plate and your fucking VIN number, all of that stuff can lead to your damn uh, to your family and your home, everything that you hold dear. So like, for one reason we give these exchange of freaking rights and allow them to do it, like whatever it is that they do, is because they give us those safety securities in exchange. But like, that's not protecting our rights. Like, that's literally negligent, basically. Like, it's not that it's on purpose, but like, we shouldn't. We're not educated in law. How would we know that we're supposed to file a claim or like, or that we're owed that grace period of, usually it's 45 days, but I don't know. I guess apparently not. Um, I don't know. Anyways, I'll probably stop thinking from that because I was getting frustrated. But yeah, denied for TANF and got denied like several times for food stamps. Mind you, homeless, jobless, disabled, lost my disability while I was falsely incarcerated, got charges dismissed. No card back, never got that back, lost everything in it. My apartment, my storage unit, my U-Haul, my other two vehicles that I had, as well as this one. Yeah, and plus, finally, 3 times later, got food stamps, and not even as much as I used to get for the same amount of people, like 5 years later. I'm pretty sure cost of living and food went up, not down, but like, I guess I don't really need that grace period or to have benefits in the meantime. That's not why we expedite them or anything, because we can't make that determination, and it is an emergency usually, especially when you inform them of all the above information and they're more than aware. So like, yeah, I'm not really sure how I got denied for all of that. And they think that they can violate my privacy and my rights, so that, like, so what? I don't have my rights to privacy. I have to give those up or I don't get the program? That's not how the program's supposed to work. That's a different kind of exchange of consensual jurisdiction. That is something that they're supposed to protect, period. That's your constitutional rights. You're not giving that up. Like, it's a state program or a federal program. They can't deny that. I don't understand. I just don't understand what is happening. Like, I understand that we give certain liberties up or whatever if we get services or protections in exchange. But what about the roads that you pay for? How many don't have a license? What about the liquor stores and stuff? How many have paid for, like, drug screens while others are going to have fun because we got in trouble and put in a program that's not even supposed to exist technically. But never mind the fact that you give away your rights for, like, you know certain safeties like criminal, environmental safety and the preservation of societies and stuff. They're literally there because of things like the plague, where people lived in the gutters, and things that are like down in the feces and the, kind of like jails and some circumstances out on the streets. You never know. If I could tell you some stories about me. So Anyways, that being said, so, yeah, I was displaced from my home and no proper housing in place. That's one of those safeties and securities that are supposed to be provided in exchange, you know, so that we don't end up in the gutter and sleeping on the streets and getting sick or whatever in exchange for, whatever, I don't know, giving our name and our identity and giving us all those things, but they're not supposed to use them for things like federal and state programs. You don't have to give them the information, especially if you're not getting compensated in some way or another, agreed upon by both parties knowledgeably, not just one or the other. Then you don't actually get those services. Like, how's that fair? So you pay for the same thing everybody else gets to use, and you just get to sit back and watch it. It's like watching a freaking going to the freaking carnival and getting to watch everybody else ride the rides, but you paid for it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Well, if you don't agree with me, try and board a plane with a felony. Um, Try and get a license if they tell you that you can't, which is a right, not a privilege. You have the right to obtain your life, liberty, and prosperity by any means necessary, as long as you're not infringing on another's ability to do so or causing harm in the process. So that's your natural born rights as a human being. Like, nobody can tell you what to do, not even your parents, technically, even if they respect you and ask you. But that's what this is supposed to be, is an agreement between two parties in good faith that they will uphold their end of the agreement, but they're both knowledgeable of what they're getting in exchange for what is being taken. Like, you don't make an agreement on an open-ended, uh, bill and just not have an idea of what it's going to be. That, and usually, even if you do, holy God, it's never that. At least for me, anyways, it seems to be like, $200-300 more than the rates and the fees suggested, and I'm very bad at math. I guess I'm very bad at math. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, let's see. Who the hell told you that you couldn't be anywhere you wanted to be, and that we had the right to tell people that we can't come here when we in fact stole this land? And celebrate that on Thanksgiving of all things. But like, I guess since we at least for, like, compensated them with something, right? Well, that's kind of the situation here. It's like bare fucking minimum that you could do, but like at least it's something, I guess. But like that's still not enough. We need to do something. And we are paying for it. What? I think I paid 16% on taxes and on one job, and I was working two jobs before my health went bad, and I had like 5 corrective surgeries, and yeah, it's been crazy. Like no quality of life either, but whatever. But I was paying 16%, and so that means like the average person's paying at least that 16 to 21%, and I was working two jobs, so like yeah, I'm not really sure like why they think we're not supposed to get the programs that we pay for, and that they have a right to tell us that we can't, or what the qualifications are for that, because I'm pretty sure that's discrimination. But whatever, I guess we just can do whatever we want because like that's what it's become. I mean, and technically, hey, you're not wrong, except for that goes both ways. They are not allowed to tell us what to do, and we are not allowed to tell them what to do. We can ask them for mediation, but other than that, they're supposed to provide us with the same things that DCS says is necessary for children to have an adequate and a happy home in any way, shape, or form. That is what we're supposed to provide every man, woman, and child, period. Doesn't matter where you are at, you are technically an American or whatever the hell you want. But technically, we're just Pangea. We're all one freaking existence. So like, we're supposed to look out for each other, and we already paid for it. Why are we having to fight for things that we're not supposed to have to fight for? I honestly, I want to get a Hoover Shanty gathering going. I don't know if anybody's interested in that, but basically, I just want to set up a bunch of tents and cook out and live in the center of town with as many people as possible, like it's Black Friday. The doors, sales are booming, baby. But like, I don't know. I want a peaceful protest. I guess that's exactly what I'm looking for. Because something has to be done. We're not supposed to have to live in these, like, not having somewhere to go and being in a position on those you care about, or complete strangers that don't even know you to open their doors to you because, like, no, nobody, like, you didn't know how to look out for yourself, I guess. Because I'm just as responsible for not knowing what to do as I am, I guess, to some degree. But they knew the rules. I don't. But I do tend to be a little cocky and arrogant on things I probably shouldn't be because, like, my mouth gets me in trouble. I got trauma syndrome. What can I say? But that's not that I should be able to, though, because they shouldn't be involved unless I request it, which would be for a civil suit, which is pain and suffering, which is why they don't have the ability to have a grievance, which is, according to Corpus Delicti, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but either way, it is a court law, the understanding or interpretation based off of what a reasonable man would believe that says that without there must be a injured party in order for there to be a crime. So in other words, you can't have a crime if you can't present a grievance. And in order to present a grievance, you can't be an entity. The state of Indiana or the state of Noble County or whatever county, I should probably edit that out, but like, yeah, well, too late now. But they are an entity of the courts. That's what gives them their immunity to be able to make judgments without fear of also being sued or ask for a repar- ah, compensation and reparations for injuries and you know whatever has occurred in that situation or a dispute between two parties. So basically, they don't have they shouldn't be sticking their nose in it in the first place. Like technically, yeah, it came off a little stupid, but anyways, they don't have an injured party. They cannot express that because they are not a living being person. They are individuals under an umbrella, just like the kings and queens of Britain and England. Like it's literally they had to give the land to their nobles because they could not own it themselves because they are but servants of the crown. It's thus the blessing and the burden type thing. So like everybody thought it was a great thing, but like really they were servants. They weren't in charge. They had to give everything to everyone else. So it was never actually theirs. Which is why I say the heck with being kings and queens for gods and goddesses. That each of us uniquely amazing in our own ways. It's Knights of Camelot. We're all essential. But like this is why we gotta look out for each other. But somebody's got like I don't know. Gotta start somewhere. I don't know. I know too many people getting lost in their homes or don't have licenses or fight twice as hard to get to a job instead of to survive as the average person because they don't have a license or they don't have their own car. They don't have a way to get there. It's not easy. They don't have a babysitter. You know what I mean? They don't have all these things. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, my brain's just overloaded. I just think we need to do something. Recognize that they don't have the right to do that, but that doesn't mean that we need anarchy either. Like, there are good purposes for these. Some of the things we just need to figure out what we're willing to agree with and what we're not, and what we're willing to give in exchange for that. Really, it's all about choice. So, but like the bare minimum that anybody should ever go without, like, is nothing less than above what DCS dictates is like acceptable for children, and it's technically for public health safety, and I can't believe the E- FDA and the EPA and stuff are not all over it with the housing displacement. In fact, that's probably some government entities that need to start looking. Oh wait, I don't have a phone anymore. I was very lucky to even have somebody that was willing to pay for a phone for me for a period of time, and I do not know how to get my free service to work because, like everything I've tried, it says it does not. So it's been super great in that department. But so yeah, now I can't even look that up right now. It's funny going through all my stacks of papers right now. You hear shuffling in the background because I'm literally trying to find all the information for that. Like, and I don't have it on hand. But yeah, so it's been a heck of a run. Yeah, like basically, I'm so frustrated because like nobody should have to survive, and here we are. Like, and so many people that have nowhere to go. Like we need to create sanctuaries. We need to do something different. You know. I don't know, man. I guess like I don't know. My first thought was awareness, and just why I'm making this video. Which, by the way, totally awkward. Totally can't think right now. 10,000 things going through my head at once. So I'm not very proficient at putting my words together right now. But I'm doing the best I can considering I've got so much going on at once. There's I've got denied for almost every program there is, unemployment, even though I was working 2 jobs, I was on medical. My disability got taken while I was in jail. Like, I was not guilty. I had no reason to take me. It's been, yeah, it's been a couple weeks there. When I should have had no bond. Like, I should have been released on my own recognizance based off of their rules and regulations. But never mind the fact that I had a, you know, predisposed history with 3 years of successful completion of drug court in the same county. So, like, I'm not really sure how I was getting a fair trial, but, like, that's a topic for another day. Because, like, your community, if anybody should not have, yeah, access to your history, it should be the people that have a decision or can alter your fate and take things that they don't have a right to take technically, which is your time and your freedom, which is your family and your home, your life, your everything you've worked for and built your whole existence. Everything that matters to you is taken and based off of what? Innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But you know what? We all do the best that we can. And I do believe that everything is done with the best intentions, but it doesn't mean it's the right answer. It just means it's not whose fault it is that matters. It's what's the solution and what can we do to change this, because this is not supposed to. Life is not supposed to be survival. It is supposed to be so much more beautiful than that. It's, we already do all the things we need to be doing. We just need to change the way that they're distributed, maybe, or look at the way that things are understood. We just need to refocus, maybe. I'm not saying a complete reset, just one thing at a time. But we gotta start somewhere, I guess.